This is a very amazing turnout. It's so touching to see so many people out here today. We wanted to start today's events with a prayer. I think, prayer is an underlooked aspect of our organizing and movement work, and I think in this moment it's particularly important for us to recognize that latent power. So I'm honored to introduce Chief Clara Soaringhawk of the Ramapo Deer Clan.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
I woke up this morning saying good morning to grandfather's son, receiving his beautiful rays, sunshine that we're privy to on this day. We all know that in our life, no matter what we're doing, we have challenges outside of what we want to be focused on. And that's where I'm at right now. So it was a little difficult for me to kind of press through, and I was asking Creator, I was, it's usually so easy for me to say a prayer, to find a space and to hear your voice. Upon reading over and over about the 47 people that lost their lives in Canada, I was really moved. I was moved and touched, by that, by the loss that their families feel and probably still feel. And how that's such a small picture, even though it's so grandiose. It's a small picture about everything that's going on in the world, everything that we deal with, the future that is ahead of us, where the pipelines are concerned, the danger that's involved, not from just the water, the air, the pollution in the air. I mean, it is time, there's no doubt about it, for us to return to the basics of life, of Mother Earth, to know that we are here protecting Mother Earth, the water, and everything that lies within, the winged creatures, the two-legged creatures, the four-legged creatures, the ones that dwell in the water, for the next 7 generations, and 7 generations beyond that. So without having a prayer to say, I say, I've been given a prayer, and I'd like to share it. I'm going to read it, because like I say, I mean, anything that you do unto Creator, should be done in excellence. Well, to the point that you can do it. So I'll read this prayer, and then I will read it in English. This is a prayer that is in our dialect, the Mansi Lenape dialect. Anishik Hishalamo Kwang, Elamiliang, Yong Kwai Kishkwit, Wak Michwakin, Willem Liswakin, Wak Ni Alango Marti, Wak Ni Wikion. Anishik Hishalamo Kwang, Elamiliang, Ukna Aki, Wak Kishok, Wak Ni Pahum, Wak A Long Way Walk, Wak Papat Talk Creek, Anishik, Hishalamo Kwang, Elamiliang, Tindel Wak Umbi, Sinil Wak Kashkong, Mitkok Wak Papak Walashak, Mihuskwal Wak Wicha Piko, Anishik, Hishalamo Kwang, Elamiliang, Uwe Ya Yisak, Wak Awa La Shoshak, Wak Namasak, Wak Akoksak, Anashik Ishalamokwang, Elamiliang, Kohamak, the music, I'm sorry. Elamiliang, Wak Kohama, oh my goodness, why is this happening? It's okay though. Wak Chosama, Kukuna, Wak Kokuna, Nicha Nina, Wak Chosamina, Lapi Anishi, Elamilian, Yom Kwai Kishkwi, Wak Nimbu Mouse Wakanam. Thank you, Creator, for giving us this day, for good health in my relations, in my home. Thank you, Creator, for giving us our Mother Earth and sun and moon and stars and thunders. Thank you, Creator, for giving us fire and water, stones and wind, trees and flowers, grasses and medicines. Thank you, Creator, for giving us animals and birds and fish and insects. Thank you, Creator, for giving us our grandmothers and our grandfathers, our mothers and our fathers, our children and our friends. Thank you, Creator, for giving me this day in my life. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to apologize for everybody. I want to also welcome each and every one of you to our ceremonial land, which is actually a strip of land you see on this side of the lake. And right up here past this little house, there's a bridge. No, it's not Checkpoint Charlie. It's just foolish signs. We are the largest landowners. On the other side of that bridge, as you cross over, you'll see a yurt and a couple teepees and some ceremonial circles where we have events. I'd like to not only invite you to come over and relax and enjoy the land, but where you can, when you see we're having an event, that's where to be. Please come join us and share in the prayer. And I'd just like to add this about a prayer. We don't want you to be Indians for 10 minutes. We want you to be the best possible person you can be in the world and share that, because that's the part of our circle that will be missing. And we thank all of you.
My name is Matt Smith, and I'm a senior organizer with Food and Water Watch. And we had a beautiful day here on the banks of the Rampo River to bring us all together for such an important cause. Really, the first component and the impetus for holding this event was that today, I believe, Paula, right, is the 6th, is the anniversary of the tragedy at Lac-Mégantic, Canada, where a rail car carrying volatile fracked Bakken oil derailed, went off the tracks, exploded in a populated downtown major metro area, and took out much of the town and killed 47 people, including children. So we wanted to start just by honoring the victims of Lac-Mégantic and really remembering their loss as we move forward on our path to transition off of fossil fuels and onto clean energy. So
My family and I buried the remains of my parents who requested to be cremated. These people did not ask to be cremated. What happened? Cutbacks in the oil and the train industry. They left the train unattended. They left the train with too few brakes in place. Just kind of a careless, stupid human mistake that ended up with 47 people losing their lives and the greater impact on the community and the environment in that area. These are the list of the people who lost their lives that day. I'll read the first 10. My comrade Cloud will read the next 10, and we'll alternate. Monsieur Jacques Giraud, who was 65 when he died. Madame Denise Dubois was 57. Madame Marie-France Boulet, 62. Monsieur Richard Villieu, 63. Madame Lucette Corrier, 76. Monsieur Wilfred Ratsch, there's a German stuck in there, 77. Bianca Charette Begnoche, 9, only 9 years old. And the other end of the spectrum, Madame Eliane Parenteux, 93. Monsieur Farique Boutin, 19. And Madame Cathy Closio, 24. Claude? We'll alternate.
Monsieur Yannick Bouchard, 36. Madame Karine Lafontaine, 35. Monsieur Maxime Dubois, 27. Madame Melissa Roy, 29. Monsieur Yves Boulet, 51. Madame Karine Champagne, 36. Monsieur Gaëtan Lafontaine, 33. Madame Joannie Turmel, 29.
We left off Madame Elodie Turcot, 18. Now, Monsieur Roger Paquette, Madame Joannie Lapointe, Monsieur Guy Bolduc, Madame André Anne Sevigné, 26. Madame Diane Bizier, 46. Monsieur David Lacroix Baudouin, 27. Monsieur Stéphane Bolduc, 37. Madame Marianne Poulain, 23. Madame Geneviève Breton, 28. Monsieur Mathieu Pelletier, 29. And Madame Sylvie Charon, 50.
Madame Henriette Latulippe, 61. Monsieur David Martin, 36. Monsieur Jean-Pierre Roy, 56. Monsieur Jean-Guy Veilleux, 32. Madame Lucie Vadnet, 49. Monsieur Michel Junior Guertin, 33. Madame Natacha Gaudreau, 41. Monsieur Kevin Roy, 29. Monsieur Éric Pépin La Jeunesse, 28. Madame Tali Koumi Bignoche, 30. Monsieur Stéphane Lapierre, 45. Madame Marie-Noël Fauché, 36. Monsieur Martin Rodrigue, 48. Monsieur Réal Custo, 57. Madame Marie Semi Alliance, 22. Alissa Charest Benioche, 4 years old. Monsieur Jimmy Sirois, 3 years old.
Let us, through our efforts, endeavor to make sure that this never happens again. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom and Claude. Thank you both. As Tom mentioned, that was a perfectly avoidable tragedy. Not only are there simple measures that the oil trains can take to make shipping the oil more safe, the fact of the matter is we need to be transitioning off of fossil fuels and onto renewables, energy sources that don't trade our future and our lives for the profits of a single industry. So One thing that thank you. Another important thing for our movement as we move forward, we are bound to have more tragedies. Climate has already started to change and has already started taking life, and we're going to need to learn as a movement how we can pick each other up. And one of the ways that's been done historically is through song. So we do have some professionals here who are going to sing, but I wanted to lead us in a short group song so we can lift up our collective energy and spirits for the rest of the day here as we move forward to a positive vision for what we want in our communities. So this was a song that I learned back at the first People's Climate March in New York City when 500,000 people or more marched for climate action. And it goes, I'm sure some of you are familiar with the song, so I'm going to count on your voices to help me as well. But it goes a little something like this. And as soon as you feel like you can jump in, please jump in, because I'm embarrassed by my voice as to this. The people gonna rise like the water. We're gonna calm this crisis down. I hear the voice of our great-granddaughters saying, shut this crisis down. The people gonna rise like the water. We're gonna calm this crisis down. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying, shut this crisis down. One more time. People gonna rise like the waters. We're gonna calm this crisis down. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying, shut this crisis down. Give yourself a round of applause. So, the other thing that makes today so unique, aside from the fact that we're here on the ancestral land of the Ramapo and incorporating the spirituality and honoring the victims of Lake Megantic, is it's a real coming together of movements. Communities who are facing the triple threat of Bakken crude oil through northern New Jersey, the Pilgrim pipelines, the Bakken crude oil trains, and the oil barges that are coming along the Hudson. All three of these present unique but unacceptable risks and threats to the communities in which they go through. And of course, they all combined represent the existential threat that is represented by climate change. And so today is a real unique gathering of everyone from across North Jersey who's concerned about these various aspects. And one of the communities who is represented here today is the leaders of the Coalition Against Pilgrim Pipeline, which is a grassroots campaign to stop the Pilgrim Pipeline that threatens these waters right here. And so I'm really honored to bring up a couple of speakers who have been really instrumental and leaders in that fight.
I just want to start off and say that the Sierra Club has been fighting to protect open spaces, and as John Muir called, the cathedrals of nature for 125 years. And the Ramapo River here is one of those places. The Sierra Club spent more than 35 years fighting to stop inappropriate development on the Ramapo Ridges and saving the Boy Scout camps. We even opposed the Polo Club, by the way, because we saw them as a major source of pollution and now a major source of hot air. But the point I'm here to say is that we also fought for years to save Sterling Forest. I spent 25 years to protect the Ramapo up above. And we worked hard and had thousands of people come up to pass the Highlands Act to protect this water supply. And after we've done all of that, Pilgrim Pipeline wants to cut an ugly scar through the middle of the most precious areas where we get our drinking water from. 3 million people get their drinking water out of the areas that they want to cross just in New Jersey. 650,000 people here in Bergen County just out of the Ramapo River. And that's why this is unconscionable. And that's why we're here. We believe there is no safe way to transport Bakken crude. The only safe thing for Bakken crude is to keep it in the ground and move to a 100% green economy. We're here today because 1 quart of oil in that river will contaminate 1 million gallons. If you have a spill that happened on the Yellowstone River where 50,000 gallons spilled, it would take years to clean it up as happened there, and New Jersey would lose its water supply, one of its critical sources, for months if not years. If it happened up on the ridge into the Wanacue River Reservoir, 2 million people. This area was protected because of the investments and the fights of people like yourselves. And it's also true, because I want to mention about the oil bomb trains. We've been fighting and working with Paul on that. What happened up in Quebec was a tragedy. If it would have happened in Bergenfield or Teaneck, it would have been a disaster of epic proportions with thousands of people potentially killed. This is not, just environmentalists talking about saving land or doing good deeds or dealing with climate change. This is about protecting life, liberty, and the health of this planet. And we're here today because we want to dedicate ourselves to the memories of the people who lost their lives. And we want to say to that fossil fool in the White House, do not sacrifice the people of this planet to big oil and gas companies. We want to, the reason he pulled out of the climate agreement in Paris is because he was afraid that he would have been regulated as our largest source of hot air. We cannot allow that to stand. We have saved this region because thousands of people like yourself stood up. We have saved Sterling Forest. We have saved the Meadowlands. We've saved so many places because of people like ourselves saying, enough. We're here today to say we want clean energy now. We do not need this pipeline or any pipeline. We don't want this triple threat to attack our waterways. But more importantly, we want to make sure that the people in Quebec did not die in vain, and that we go forward to make sure it never happens again. Thank you.
Well, wonderful to see so many of you come out today. And all right, we welcome everyone, and we are very glad. Okay.
Like a banana.
I'm a Mahwah resident, and I am speaking on behalf of the Coalition Against the Pilgrim Pipelines. We are so excited to be combining our efforts with all of these hardworking environmental organizations that have chosen to commemorate the 4th anniversary of La Gigantic disaster and combine our efforts in pushing for renewable energy. So I've come a long way from the first time that, I don't know if Ann Powley's here, but when Ann Powley and I approached the Mahwah Town Council to pass our first resolution in Mahwah opposing the Pilgrim Pipeline. Woo! Our effort was to stop Pilgrim Pipeline's harmful and risky proposal for a set of bi-directional pipelines running from Albany, New York to Linden, New Jersey. These pipelines that have been proposed would transport approximately 400,000 barrels of oil and refined petroleum products a day, right through our precious watersheds and environmentally sensitive parklands. It would cut across several major drinking water rivers and EPA-designated sole source aquifers. Here in Mahwah, our sole source aquifer, along with over 16 tributary streams that run along the Ramapo River, are at risk. The pipelines are proposed to run along the top of the Ramapo Mountains, through the Highlands Preservation Area, and along steep slopes to the Ramapo River, along a fault line, along explosive gas pipelines already there, all through some of the most permeable soil in the state. I live along the Ramapo Mountains and the Ramapo River. I see firsthand the beauty and fragility of this precious land and our waterways. We only recently went through the Tennessee Gas Expansion Project and saw the destruction and damage caused by this gas pipeline to our public parklands. When my friend and colleague Ann Powley and I started asking our township for help, it took some convincing. This environmental protection business is hard work.
That's for sure.
And it takes patience and perseverance. And I want to thank Matt Smith from Food and Water Watch, Ben Dolsky, who is from Parsippany, Jeff Tittle and Tony Granado from Sierra Club, and all of the volunteers that I couldn't even name how many of them that have been so wonderful and so supportive. Jerome from 350, and Jeff Rappaport, who put out flyers for days and days out at the Ramapo Reserve. There's so many of you. Greg, all the people that are on our Friday conference calls. So Ann and I, we went we were blessed to have so much help and support. And we want to also thank the Mahwah officials. Right away, Jonathan Marcus from the Mahwah Environmental Commission helped us along, and he whispered in our ears what we needed to do to get the town council to listen to us and to fill the rooms with residents from Mahwah so that they would listen. And they did come along, and they ended up passing a resolution to oppose the pipeline, and not only did they pass that resolution, they passed an ordinance, and they also went to other towns and helped convince other towns, and they helped build the municipal pipeline group, which is a group of 15 mayoral people and townships that have pooled their resources and hired legal counsel to protect us in our towns. And they've also worked with legal to develop an ordinance. And Mahwah just passed our wellhead protection ordinance and a pipeline ordinance that's based on the municipal land use laws to protect our town, not just from this pipeline, but from future projects like this. Within the first year or two in New Jersey, with all of our efforts at CAP, we were eventually able to get all 28 New Jersey townships directly along the route to pass resolutions in opposition to this project. And we've also gotten a dozen or so other townships that aren't even along that route to also pass resolutions because they understand the risk to New Jersey's water supply. Through preservation, CAP and our affiliated organizations also obtained the opposition of 5 New Jersey counties, New Jersey State Assembly, and the Senate. Ann and I have been tremendously appreciative of the Mahwah Mayor and Town Council who went on to pass all of these ordinances. Sorry, I jumped around, so I already said that, sorry. Working with CAP and activists and environmental organizations throughout the area, I've learned a great deal about what it takes to stop a project like this. To work for 3 years with weekly conference calls, visiting and educating our elected officials, fundraising and tabling at all sorts of events, and strategizing constantly on our next plans and goals. The volunteers I've worked with have been incredible. And the amount of information that organizations like Food and Water Watch and Jeff Tittle from Sierra Club bring to the table is just amazing. And they do an incredible job protecting us. We don't even realize the amount of work that organizations out there are doing to protect our environment every day. And going to the state capitol and demanding that legislation is put in place that's going to protect us. Thank you all for educating me along the way. This year I captained a bus for Sierra Club to the Climate March to Washington, D.C. Things that I just never had done before. I was able to move from the desire to stop these oil pipelines along the Ramapo Mountains that run above my home to understanding the bigger picture. This pipeline project poses a threat to the Mayan community, and continued dependence on fossil fuels and transport of fossil fuels through all of our communities poses a threat to all of us. We are at the cusp of having the ability to transition to newer, safer forms of energy, and it will take all of us in local communities that bear the risks to push our elected officials locally at the state and at the national level to intervene and to get our country moving in the direction of renewable energy. We should no longer be destroying our environment, risking our health and safety, and our precious water supplies with the continued push for fossil fuel exploration and infrastructure projects like the Pilgrim Pipeline. It simply is the wrong direction for us, for our country, and the money and corporate greed behind this short-sighted approach will be the ultimate demise of our country as we miss this next economic boom in the renewable energy technology sector and the rest of the world moves past us. So here in New Jersey, stopping the Pilgrim pipelines is more than just protecting our homes and local water supplies. It's also about New Jersey's energy future and the role New Jersey will play in the energy future of our nation. I just want to thank, again, so many people that I've worked with in the past year that have just been incredible leaders. And Paula Rogovin, who is responsible for doing this here and getting our organizations together. She is incredible and inspirational. And I want to say, I just found out that she is one of the founders of the Teaneck Peace Vigil. And if you don't know what that is, she stands out for 11 years every Wednesday in front of the Teaneck Armory to demand that our troops are brought home and that we get a peaceful resolution to the wars in the Middle East. And she is truly for preservation of life. And that's what she is about, preservation of life, preservation of our environment, protecting people's lives. And she is a hero. So COP's hope in the coming months is to work with all of you and all of the environmental groups represented here to elect a new state governor that will create a new state energy master plan and strong, purposeful, renewable energy goals. We want a governor that will get behind and support clean infrastructure projects that create long-term jobs that are good for all New Jersey residents. We want to see New Jersey become a leader with a plan to transition to 100% renewable energy and bring New Jersey into a new economic boom based on renewable energy technology. Let's work together for these changes in New Jersey and ultimately in our nation. Thank you, guys. Thank everyone for being here.
I also want to make a quick announcement because people tell you fighting pipelines, you can't win. Well, last week, the New Jersey DEP under Christie kicked out the Penny's pipeline. Sierra Club 2 weeks ago won a federal court case against the Dakota Access Pipeline. Because even though Donald Trump may tweet it, the law doesn't say he can just ignore the law. And we're also in front of the Public Utilities Commission in Nebraska, still fighting Keystone. So don't give up. We've stopped a lot of pipelines.
That's right.
We stopped one in upstate New York about a month ago. And I just want to start off because people keep telling you can't win. We can win and we can keep winning.
Hope you'll sing with us. This little light of mine, we're going to start, you know, at least the chorus. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Next verse is, everybody knows fracking's got to go. 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 Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. All around the world, clean energy's gonna shine. 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 Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. No gas lines through this town, we're gonna shut them down. Okay, here we go. No gas lines through this town, we're gonna shut them down. No gas lines through this town, we're gonna shut them down. No gas lines through this town, we're gonna shut them down. Shut them down, shut them down, shut them down. Everybody knows greenhouse gases gotta go. Everybody knows greenhouse gases gotta go. Everybody knows greenhouse gases gotta go. less walls, that's our goal. All around the world, clean energy's gonna shine. 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 Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Repeat that line. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. One last time. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All right, we're going to do one of our originals, one of my originals. We're mourning the folks of Lake Megantic, but our motto is ain't gonna mourn, gonna organize. And that's the main thing you sing. Ain't gonna mourn, gonna organize. You all ready? Ain't gonna mourn, gonna organize. Ain't gonna mourn, gonna organize. We're down in the mud, we're gonna reach the skies. Ain't gonna mourn, gonna organize. Woke up this morning, turned on the news. Woke up this morning, turned on the news. The Trump administration trying to give us the blues, but we'll fight back, and they will lose. Ain't gonna mourn, gonna organize. Ain't gonna mourn, gonna organize. We're down in the mud, we're gonna reach the skies. Ain't gonna mourn, gonna organize. Well, he's a con man for the 1%. He's a con man for the 1%. Defrauding the workers as he raises the rent. But we'll fight back, we won't just sit. Ain't gonna mourn, gonna organize. Ain't gonna mourn, gonna organize. We're down in the mud, we're gonna reach the skies. Ain't gonna mourn, gonna organize. He's hurting me, misogyny too. He's hurting me, he's hurting you. He's slashing and a burden, not a thing he says is true. But we'll fight back, and he'll be through. Ain't gonna mourn, gonna organize. Ain't gonna mourn, gonna organize. We're down in the mud, we're gonna reach the skies. Ain't gonna mourn, gonna organize. If folks unite, we're bound to win. We're bound to win. If folks unite, we're bound to win. We're bound to win. Just sitting and a griping is committing a sin. If folks unite, we're bound to win. Come on, ain't gonna mourn, gonna organize. Ain't gonna mourn, gonna organize. We're down in the mud, we're gonna reach the skies. Ain't gonna mourn, gonna organize. Ain't gonna mourn, gonna organize. Thank you very much. They may let us sing a little later, but we're definitely singing on the other end.
That's right.
Hope to see you all there.
All right, I left my hard copy at home, but fortunately technology comes in hand sometimes, and here it is. So yes, my name is Lori Ludmer, and it's my honor to stand here as a representative of 350 NJ and Rockland County, New York. We are committed to solving the climate crisis through education, activism, and peaceful direct action. I want to start with a quote from a true heroine of the climate justice movement, Rachel Carson. In Silent Spring, she wrote, "We stand now where two roads diverge, but unlike the roads in Robert Frost's familiar poem, they are not equally fair. The road we have long been traveling is deceptively easy, a smooth superhighway on which we progress with great speed, but at its end lies disaster. The other fork of the road, the one less traveled by, offers our last, our only hope to reach a destination that assures the preservation of the earth." It's 55 years since Rachel Carson wrote that clarion call for environmental justice, and it's the 4th anniversary of the tragedy of Lake Mackinac, Quebec, that killed 47 people when a train carrying Bakken crude oil exploded. This lethal fracked oil is moving around our country, around pristine wilderness, near rivers and lakes, past our reservoirs, past cities and towns, where hundreds of thousands of men, women, and children live. It's happening right here, right now. This crude oil is a nasty material, very destructive when it spills onto the environment, very toxic when it contacts humans or animals. It's not even particularly useful for energy because before it's chemically refined. We find ourselves in a situation in which this toxic oil, this poison, is being transported past our schools and libraries, our churches and synagogues, our first responders, past each family, in each and every house in our neighborhoods. It's why we are here today, to protest the transport through our towns of Bakken oil by oil trains, barges, and pipelines. We say no to barges carrying toxic oil across our precious waters. We say no to pipelines with their inevitable rupture. We say no to oil trains with their deadly derailments. No to contamination of our land and water. No to environmental destruction. But saying no is not enough. We must diligently and with persistence work to make energy clean and renewable. We must determine that we will live in a sustainable reality and work to make that an actuality. We say yes to solar power. We say yes to wind energy. We say yes to renewable energy. We say yes to protecting and saving Mother Earth. We will fight to keep fossil fuel in the ground. We will fight to have a 100% renewable energy nation by 2035. Now, shining a light on issues crucial to our welfare as a country and as a people, demonstrating against protesting what is wrong, injustice. This is how our democracy works. As we stand on the shoulders of the people who have fought for justice before us, we come here today as part of a great tradition of standing up for what is right. I'd like to end with a song, it's modified slightly, from the anti-nuke movement of the late 70s. The song is called Power, and it was written by John Hall, a former congressman and environmental activist. If I could sing it, I would sing it. It's a beautiful tune, but I can't. But just give me the warm power of the sun. Give me the steady flow of waterfall. Give me the spirit of living things as they return to clay. Just give me the restless power of the wind. Give me the comforting glow of a wood fire. We're going to take all your frack poison power away. Everybody needs some power, I'm told, to shield them from the dark and the cold. Some may seek a way to take control when it's bought and sold. I know that lives are at stake, yours and mine and our descendants in time. There's so much to gain and so much to lose. Every one of us has to choose. Yes, every one of us has to choose. Let's take a moment to commemorate the tragedy of Mackinac and honor the victims of climate justice and climate change. Sorry. And let me take this moment to thank each and every one of you, of us, for choosing to walk on that road that, in Carson's words, offers our last, our only chance to reach a destination that assures the preservation of the earth. Thank you.
I want to close, I think most was already said, but I do want to close by saying, my organization, Food and Water Watch, is a national organization. We were the first national group to call for a ban on fracking when it was still largely very unpopular to do so, mostly because it wasn't deemed politically realistic in that moment to be calling for a ban. Wall Street was behind fracking, the oil and gas industry were behind fracking, both the Democratic Party and the Republican Party were behind fracking. As we can remember, President Obama's infamous inaugural address, which said, we have 100 years of shale gas to be untapped, and that means energy independence. What he didn't say was that also means devastation for the rural communities whose water is being poisoned by the fracking industry, devastation for the communities in Oklahoma who have suffered an unprecedented string of earthquakes in their state due to the fracking and waste disposal from fracking. He didn't mention the fact that methane gas, the byproduct of fracking, releases into the atmosphere in its raw state, and when it does, it's a greenhouse gas up to 86 times more potent than carbon dioxide. So while the Democratic Party, or much of the Democratic Party, and of course Wall Street and the oil and gas industry tried to sell us gas as a bridge fuel to a clean energy future, Food and Water Watch had the backbone as the first national group to say no. And when they told us we couldn't ban it in New York, we organized for 3 years in the state of New York, led a grassroots campaign with over 200 community organizations involved, and we banned fracking in New York in 2015. Just this year, right in the wake of the election, after a 4.5-year campaign in Maryland, reaching out to and uniting the urban communities in Baltimore with the rural communities in suburban Maryland, Food and Water Watch was proud to be part of the coalition and really spearhead the coalition that banned fracking in the state of Maryland. And that was under a Republican governor. So it can be done. We need to be willing to stand up for what we believe, not what just is politically feasible or realistic in this moment. Because when we stand up for what we believe, we create the political space for what's possible, for what we think isn't possible to actually happen and be possible. I'm proud to announce that Food and Water Watch's next big campaign is an off fossil fuels campaign, where we are calling on, in this moment of a failure, a really crisis of national leadership on climate and the environment, we're calling on local and state officials to fill the void, as are many other organizations doing the same. But our effort is unique in that it calls for 100% renewable energy by 2035. That is based on the science of climate change that says we must draw down our greenhouse gas emissions to zero by the year 2035 if we're to have a better than 50% chance of avoiding catastrophic climate change and global warming. So this is, we have our hands full. This is an unprecedented task. I don't want to sit here and tell you that this is a done deal and that we can just do this by gathering here at the Rampo River. This is going to take unprecedented levels of engagement, unprecedented levels of courage and resolve and persistence and sacrifice among those of us here and those of us not yet here and those of us not even born yet. But it's also an exciting opportunity to be at the forefront of a movement that isn't just about preserving life as we know it, but rebuilding a more just society. A society that doesn't sacrifice the children of Newark, New Jersey, and their lungs and their health and their future so those of us here in suburban New Jersey can have clean air and clean water. There's no such thing as environmental and climate justice without social and racial justice. That's right. And I think that's one of the big lessons as we move forward. We have to unite our movements behind a shared progressive agenda. It's not enough to say no fossil fuels. It's not enough to say yes to clean energy. We need to listen with our hearts open and unite our communities across these long-lasting political divides that the 1% has put in our way to keep us separated and keep us from realizing our dreams and our hopes of a just and lasting society. So I want to recognize that the Off Fossil Fuels campaign is looking for everyone to get involved. If you go to allfossilfuels.org, we need everyone taking this to their mayor, to their town council, to their county rep, to their state rep. And we have a team of organizers who can train you, who can get you the materials, and who can connect you with people in your communities so you can start this urgent work of building the political will to get us off fossil fuels once and for all. And I'm proud to announce that in the lead up to this day of action, we had 2 elected officials in New Jersey sign the pledge that says they support 100% stopping the fossil fuel expansions that are being proposed for New Jersey, and instead putting 100% of their support behind clean energy and pledging to do everything in their power to help be part of the movement to get our society to 100% renewables by 2035. And that includes the pledge signers. Just in this last week were Mayor Michael Ganelli of Secaucus, New Jersey. Some of you might know Amanda Neshuat from Secaucus, who is the environmental sustainability coordinator for that city, and she was instrumental. And she'll be at the Englewood Cliffs event talking about how her work at the local level is really having an impact at the state and national level and sort of building this political movement. And the other mayor up in the lead up to this was Mayor John Dunleavy of Bloomingdale, New Jersey. Well, like most politicians, it's a mixed bag, right? But I think it is important to acknowledge politicians when they do the right thing, and then, as Jeff acknowledges, it's important to hold them to the fire and hold them accountable when they don't do the right thing. But in this instance, John did sign the pledge supporting 100% renewables. So we'll give him 1 second of recognition, then we'll go back to pressuring him to stop his destructive ways. So the last thing, aside from going to all... No. Senator Weinberg will be joining us at the Englewood Cliffs event to say a few words about her environmental leadership in the Senate of New Jersey. I want to say that aside from going to allfossilfuels.org, I want to ask everyone with a smartphone, and you know, that should mean almost everyone here should be taking out their smartphone, if you could, or just regular cell phone. But if you can take out your phone and send one quick text message today, this will actually get you added to the network of people working on the Off Fossil Fuels campaign, and we'll send you updates when we have events like this, when there's critical mobilizations in your community where we need to show popular support for renewable energy and the need to get off fossil fuels. So I'm going to ask everyone to take out their phone again and enter into the number that you're going to text to, 69866. So we're going to send a text to 69866, and the body of that text is going to simply say revolution, because what we need is a clean energy revolution to take us off the toxic, dirty fuels of the past and onto the clean renewables of the future. So again, that's 69866, and just simply text the word revolution to that number, and you should get an immediate reply message from one of our fossil fuel organizers. And again, we'll be in touch with you about the ways that work for you to get involved in this movement, even if that just means 15 minutes a week of your time. Part of the movement means moving beyond where we're at today. So those of us who have been doing this for some time, we need to go further. And those of us who maybe are coming to a rally for the first time or just getting back into activism, now is the time, and we need you to step forward and step up to continue moving all of us down this journey.